How you guys doing? I'm still here. It's windy as shit out. I was gonna make the video outside, but the wind is just whipping. So, before I eat something else to eat, because I'm fucking hungry, make a little video. As you guys may know, I got a job. There's a lot of things going on in my life right now, but we're going forward, trying to fix some things. But I got a job, and that was, a blessing. A guy that I know gave me a job and said I'd try you out, see if you do good, and he wants me full time now. He's just trying to figure out if he can squeeze me in to do that, and I'm like, hey, I'm happy with what I'm getting. No, something's better than nothing. So it's not really a hard job working in an alcohol store. There's two different stores: the beer side, non-alcoholic, and then you have the alcohol side. Pretty basic. Um, People come in that look young. We have to ID them, right? We have to make sure you're 21. So a lady came in and, she's right at 21 probably. She was like 23. And I ID'd her. And she had a California ID. Okay, she's from California. So she put her debit card in. She said, I don't sound Californian. And I'm like, I don't know really what that sounds like. And I said, I guess not. I said, you just sound like a normal woman, a young lady. And she laughed. She said, I think that I would sound different than here. I said, I don't know. You're not socialist, don't sound like a liberal, so. And she laughed, and she's like, yeah, I'm just visiting family, just visiting some family and friends here, and I'm going back in a week. And I said, I bite my tongue, because I really don't care about California. She said, yeah, no one really does about the governor of California. And she left. And I was like, oh. Surprisingly, she didn't flip out and like, oh my god, you're a racist or whatever. Damn, the wind's whipping out there. All my corn bags are just rolling around. Someone needs to go out there and pick them all up. I don't know who keeps dumping them out there. I blame the kids for that. They don't pick up my trash. Had some people come in the same day and look at whiskeys. Like, man, you have a lot of whiskeys, like a lot of high-end stuff. I mean, we have a huge selection, the biggest selection around. And he's like, I want to get an allocated bottle. Told him the rules, how to buy one. So he bought a few bottles, spent like $400 and some fucking dollars. I mean, Jesus Christ, on 3 bottles of whiskey. Okay, you do you, all free, free market. You have the money, you do what you want to do. And he showed me pictures of his alcohol store up there in New Jersey. He's like, this is one close where we live. They have the Taylors and the Blanton whiskeys for $200. We sell them range, usually, depending on what batch it is, $92, $93 plus tax. So it's like $101, $102. It's fucking crazy. It is fucking crazy. And he talked about, like, yeah, it's like all of them are state-run, government-controlled. Is that? I'm like, no, this is private-run, dude. A white guy owns this store. And I said, no, we do have, government regulations and bullshit we have to follow, unfortunately, but for the most part, it's not that bad. I mean, it's common sense, and then everything else that you have to learn, that's only 5% of it. Everything else is just inventory and where to put it and the names of them, and I still don't understand the names of tequila because, oh my god, make no sense to me. I can understand some of the whiskeys, and the beers, but other than that, the tequilas, I don't fucking understand the names. And the rums, and the liqueurs, and all that shit. I'm getting there, though. I never drinked, I never done any of that, just worked there. And then, so we talked, had a great conversation. Walked around, he walked around the beer side. We can legally sell THC drinks now. And he's like, oh, that's what you can sell. It's like, we can sell it, we just can't promote it. Like, there's different rules, and then if they ever say that we can't sell it, we have to get rid of it, kind of thing. But we can sell it right now. And we got these in because some customers want certain things. He's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And he was more surprised that we had bitters, which I'm still not sure why you want something that's bitter. But they can't get them in New Jersey. They can't find them. And if they do find them, they're twice as much as what we have. So he's like, damn, only $13 for this. I'm like, sure, yeah, yep, on the shelf. Buy what you want to buy. Bought a few of those. So, pretty good conversation with him. And then the last little story is had these two people come in, older black people. The one guy must have been close to 70, the other guy must have been 60. Came in and bought a couple cases of beer, $40 worth of beer. Guy had cash out, other guy had a debit card. I didn't know, I'm like, buying it together, okay. Scanned them, put the debit card in, I'm like, you're good. And the black dude's like, I don't need to put a deposit down? What do you mean? You just... No. I was confused for like good 10 seconds. Like, what are you talking? I've never had anyone say a deposit. I'm like, no, you bought the beer, you're good, unless you're going to go to the whiskey side or unless you're going to buy more stuff. Like, I'd be happy to take it to your car if you need me to. He's like, no. He said, we're from New York State. I said, oh, you're talking about the can recycling thing. He's like, yeah, I'm talking about that. He said, no, there's none of that here. And I said, no, we don't have any of that. And then they proceeded to tell me what it was. I said, I understand the concept and I agree with the theory of it. That you put a tax, and apparently it's 10 cents now up there, or going to be 10 cents a can, and you get the money back if you recycle. But in theory, it does not work that way. And people, they do it, the government does it to steal money from you. It's just an additional tax. It's not for the greater good or climate change or any of that bullshit. And he's like, I get it. And I said, I don't agree with it because it's basically taxation without representation. We're going to do it for this cause, but the money, if it sits in this account for so long, we're going to, use it to pay our salaries more. And it's not going to the park or it's not going to the road system. No, it's going to go to their politicians' pockets. It's going to go to their fucking new mansions or whatever bullshit. Oh, we're going to build a library and make a non-profit, library here. And then the politician, next thing you know, in 2 years is worth $50 million. And then you look at the history and like, oh, taxpayers donate $25 million a year to this non-profit and his salary is $20 million. Bunch of bullshit. So we had a conversation about that, and the guy's like, yeah. He's like, it's good in theory. He said, it doesn't work. And the other guy's like, I'm moving to Florida now. I'm retired and moving to Florida. He said, it's way, way cheaper here in Florida to buy beer. And he said, South Carolina is really good also. I said, yeah. I said, people come in here all the time from out of state because we're right off the interstate and buy a shitload of beer or a shitload of whiskey because they can't get it up there. And I said, but that's what you guys vote for. So, you play with what you have. And unfortunately, a lot of people up there, especially in the city, wants communism and wants higher taxes because they believe it's going to be a good thing. But when they come to find out, the rent keeps going up because you increase property tax. You increase tax on cigarettes 50%. Well, they're going to have to raise the cigarette price. And you do the same thing with soda or food or whatever bullshit you're talking about. In theory, that's a good theory. I agree with that. Put in tax on cans and making sure everything goes to be recycled. And he asked me, he said, what if they did it down here? I said, first of all, it would affect the scrap business. Second of all, there's actually a few non-profits that actually collect cans and actually do good work with it. And they are legit that I would donate cans to them or money to them if I needed to because they actually have good purposes. But I said it wouldn't do anything. The people that recycle, like I recycle my cans, and every time I go to the scrapyard, I just take a bag or two, whatever I have, and just make a few dollars or 50 cents, whatever it is. It just adds to the paycheck. I said the people that is going to recycle is still going to recycle. The people that don't recycle are not going to recycle. It's that simple. You might increase it for a minute, 5%, but it's going to go right back down because people are too fucking lazy to pick their own trash up, let alone other people's trash. I said, i.e., just look at any of the ditches around here. People throw away. There's mattresses on the side of the road because people are too lazy to drive 2 more miles down the road to the trash dump. That's what we live in. And that's everywhere. That's not just South Carolina. That's every fucking place. And anyone that says, well, in my state, it does happen. It does. You have rats in New York City also. So don't give me that shit. So, anyway, you guys have a good one. See you guys later.